Hi, I'm Pam Goldstein. I am the chairperson of the Windsor International Writers Conference. And with me today is a very dear friend of mine. I've known him since he was 20 years old. This is Chris Rabideau. He's an actor, he's a playwright, he directs all sorts of shows, he runs ACT from this magnificent theater. It's the old Walkerville Theater. And he attended our last year's conference. So I thought this was a great person to have an interview with. But first I want to talk about the old Walkerville Theater. I remember it from when I was a kid because my dance studio, Zimmerman's, used to hold its annual recital here every year. So I know the ins and outs of this theater like the back of my hand.
What's so great about it is when people come into the theater, they always have a story.
Yeah.
This theater is so rooted in story because it's part of who we are as the social fabric of Windsor. And if you remember it from being, when it first opened in 1918, it was a vaudeville theater, to becoming a movie theater, to becoming a dance theater, to becoming a bar. It's had so many renovations, just like Windsor.
Yeah.
And we're really proud of it here. And here we are hoping that once again, we're going to revive it for a new generation.
Yeah. Well, Mary Lambrose, the lady who's doing this, is a personal hero of mine. I just think she's the most amazing lady. And what she has done here in the short span of time that she's had it is absolutely phenomenal.
I've never met anyone like her, actually. She puts her money where her mouth is, to be honest. And you need people, business-minded people in an arts community here in Windsor. And it's so great because when she says she wants something done, it can be done the next day. You don't have to go through boards. You don't have to go through all the red tape. She just wants it done, and we do it. I think that's really great. You need those investors in the community to make it that much more greater. So the Walkerville Theater, yes, it's coming. It's in renovation, and it's ready to go, and we're excited to get there. I can't wait to see what the next 5 years will bring.
Yeah. And when she started, I remember the first 6 months that she had it, she was panicking a little bit because she only had one show booked.
Right. Right. So we've come a long way. I mean, the last couple of years since it opened, I mean, I remember coming in the beginning, and I had rented the space with an organization that I was working with at the time. We were the only ones in there over a span of 6 weeks. So to see the growth is just tremendous. I'm excited to see what will happen in the next couple of years and see where it grows even further. Mary still needs help from the community, though, because she can't do it on her own.
Exactly.
We can't do it on our own, but we need the community to continue to embrace this work. But she's great because she has a vision, and I think vision is so important in our community. She has a vision of where it should go, and so it's meant for everyone, so everyone can be part of this community.
Mm-hmm. So now we're in the balcony of the theater.
Yeah.
I remember these red seats. I remember crying my eyes out watching Old Yeller from this position exactly.
That's what's so great about the theater is you can come up in the balcony and have these wonderful old red seats, or you can go down and maybe have dinner theater at a table. That's so great. We're able to do so many different positions and different kinds of theater here in this theater, which is great for us.
Yeah.
So we love it.
I love it. But getting to the Writers' Conference.
Yes.
You attended it last year.
Yeah.
But my question is, how did you get interested in the theater and the arts and writing? Because you're an excellent playwright.
Well, thank you. Since I was a kid, I was always a dramatic kid, to say the least. But drama saved my life. I think for many kids growing up in the theater, it saves their life, and it did for me. I think there's many different ways you can go, and I chose the stage, and I think it saved my life. So I'm very thankful. And I just had an appreciation for it. I wanted to know more. And then I went to University of Windsor here, where my undergrad was in drama education and community. So it was great because there was the drama aspect of watching plays and being part of it and researching, but there's also the other aspect of the teaching ability. How do we teach others? How do we inspire others? And I think that's why I was so drawn to it. And I've really taken that program since I started, and it really has added into what I do now. Along the way, I've been inspired by different people, and I just went for it. Honestly, Pam, my best advice for people is don't wait for it to happen tomorrow. Just go for it today. Because you kind of just have to do it. I remember probably about 7 years ago having an idea and saying, I just want to make a change in the community, and Waking Up Blue was formed, and that was a show that I'm very proud of that worked with kids who were from the LGBT community. We brought GSAs into our schools, and now almost every school has one, which is very exciting. Laws have passed, and I think it's great that we have social justice shows like that. But also, there's the other side of me. I love musical theater. I love to write poems. I love to write plays. So I'm a diverse child of the theater.
Aw.
Right, I am. But it's wonderful, and I'm happy that I'm able to play in such a theater like this.
Now, in the Walkerville Theater, you run ACT.
Yes, Arts
What
Collective
is
Theater.
ACT?
ACT is a nonprofit organization held here in the theater. It stands for Arts Collective Theater as a collective. We've been open about 15, 16 months now, and since then we've already produced over 4 big shows, including social justice shows, musicals, fundraisers, all in the hopes to create something that hopefully will live on for a long time. We're looking at the artist approach, which is really important. We want to diversify. The shows that we do here have been working with youth. I think it's important for us to take our youth and have them appreciate the arts. That's where it starts. How many times do you go to smaller towns or smaller communities and people say, well, there's not an appreciation, or why should people get paid, or they're just doing it for fun. This allows them to understand the hard work it takes, the dedication it takes for the craft, and what your rights are as an actor, and where you can go with this, and allows us to never stop dreaming. And I think that's really, really important. So ACT is about really being who you are and bringing it to the stage, and hopefully we'll have mentors there to help elevate you. And that's what's so great about ACT, is the mentorship quality. How do we take people who do it for a living? How do we take people who are doing it in our community or outside our community, bring them here to help challenge and work with our students, so hopefully they feel rewarded at the end of the day and do some really inspiring stuff.
Okay, getting back into that, there seems to have been a renaissance in Windsor about 3 years ago. Mary bought the theater.
Right.
I started the Writers' Conference, and Amanda Gelman has started the Rain Dance Film and Arts Center downtown. And it's really exciting how it's all coming together.
Well, there's a real need. I think that synergy is happening because there's a real need in our community for it. Look, we're a border town. We're on the coast of 2 countries. We need to use that idea. We need to realign again with our friends and make this exciting for Windsor. Windsor has its history in, of course, the car automotive industry, but let's be known for something else.
Yeah.
Because there's always been a great artistic approach here. But let's go further now. Let's bring people here. Let's continue to inspire each other, and let's create new exciting ventures.
Yeah. In the Writers' Conference, the one thing that I noticed was Windsor has 8 different publishing firms, which is unheard of. We're a town of 250,000, and we've got 8 publishing firms. We have people like the late Alistair MacLeod, who's won every award imaginable from here, Nino Ricci, all these really famous authors. So it seemed natural to me that we should have a writers' conference. Now, you were at the very first one.
Yes, I
what
was.
did you think about it?
I was actually impressed. I didn't know what to expect. I mean, there's many different writers' conferences all over, but for here in Windsor, being in a great space, it was a wonderful location with great people coming into our town. I think that was really what an incentive for our community. You're right, we have 8 publications, public services. How amazing is that? Why aren't we doing more? So it was a need that needed to be met, and that you successfully met that need. So I think now going into another one, it's very exciting, because I hope more people will get on board and be part of it, because it is exciting. It is a need that we need to continue with. It is something that the voices need to be heard, not just, outward, but the inward voices with our pen.
Right.
I think it's really important that we continue to make writing one of the leaders of the arts community as far as Windsor goes. And I think having the conference helps excel that and makes it better. I attended and I had a great time. There's always something you can learn, or people you can learn from. You could go there thinking you're going to learn something new about the writing community, and you might just make a friend who helps you advance your craft. And I think that's what's so great about conferences, and I think that's what was great about the last one.
Yeah. You actually met somebody that I totally respect and adored, Michael Greyeyes.
I think why I was drawn to him is because of his work with social justice. And I think I have a social justice bent to my work, so I appreciate that. And I think people who come from the same work can appreciate each other's work. And I was drawn, and I didn't even, just meeting him for the first time, I had no idea the work he had done. And so that was so great for me to see the work that people are doing, and to hope to inspire to do that work as well.
One of the things I looked at when trying to get writers and arranging, what the schedule was, is that we're a community of over 140 different ethnic groups.
It's amazing.
And Detroit is like double that. Like, who knew there was even that many ethnic groups in the world? So my big thing is like you know, social justice, change, incorporating everybody together, making us blend and be able to get along, and for people to be able to write their stories. And did you find that I succeeded, or?
Well, I think what's so great about that is that, you know, Windsor is one of the largest diverse cities in the country. St. Louis, Detroit as well. And having a writers' conference there, we have to kind of look at the diversity in which we live. And creating a writers' conference, I think it's important to look at that. And how do we take that fabric of our city so well and create something together? And I think you're right. Social justice, diversity, culture. If you look at the writers who come from here, there's something to be said about that in their writing.
Yeah.
And, you know, when we're creating it, when we're going to these functions, we're looking at other people who are part of that community. And when you talk about rooted in story, that's where I come from, rooted in story. You know, social justice, we look at a story and we take it, in theater anyway, we take it and then we give them power on the stage. And hopefully teach other people along the way, which is what it's about. So I think it's very essential that after the last project that we met people who were doing the same thing, and that we could see that we weren't alone. Because how many times do you think, oh, I'm the only one doing this, or I'm the only one doing this? The truth is, there's so many people doing what we all do together. Just we need to find those people and to create better things together.
Exactly. One of the people I have coming to the conference that I'm so excited about is Cheryl Wu Dunn. In 1991, do you remember the picture of the Chinese kid in Tiananmen Square standing in front of the army tank protesting?
Yes, it's a well-known picture, actually.
That was her.
Wow.
She won a Pulitzer Prize for that,
Wonderful.
along with her husband. And she is all about human justice and the injustices that are going on. And she has all sorts of groups that she has formed that are dealing specifically with that. And she's coming to talk this year. And
That's
I
amazing.
thought,
It's amazing how one picture can be a pretext into years of conversation.
yeah, isn't it? And to me, that's what the Writers' Conference is all about, is being able to focus in, like look at your work and focus in on that one key thing that explodes and lets you talk about everything.
And I think it's really hard for a lot of writers, because I think they want to do everything at once.
Yeah.
And the truth is, if you can hone it down to something you do well, if you can pick that one moment, that theme, that something that is you,
Yeah.
you're gonna be so successful.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to try and do at the conference.